It's fixed. It's fixed. It's finally done. This is the 2019 Volkswagen GLI. For the past 10 months, it has suffered an irritating dashboard rattle. Today, we're going to be taking apart the dashboard, removing the irritating piece, and fixing it. Let's get started. At first, I thought it might be the instrument cluster. In 2019, Volkswagen offered the GLI for the first time with all the upgrade options available to the Golf GTI. It came in an S model, Autobahn edition, and 35th anniversary edition. This GLI S came with an analog dash, and I assume Volkswagen cut corners, and the rattle was probably coming from the gauge needles. The noise sounded like loose plastic. After a few weeks of driving with it, it became clear to me that the sound was coming from the piece of injection molding. During the cold months, the sound was vacant during the first 10 minutes of driving, then would slowly amp up as the car heater blew directly onto the molding. Today we are going to remove that piece, but first we will need to remove this gray trim and the passenger side vent. Once it's out, we will use fabric tape to silence the rattle at the source. Then return the dash to its original state and go for a test drive to see the results. To remove the interior pieces, I purchased this tool set on Amazon. It comes with 4 pry tools that are various sizes and safe to use without scratching or damaging components. This first piece was the most difficult. It has 4 tabs that are fit inside a tough receiver. There are 5 smaller slots at the top and the bottom. The top gap to remove the smaller slots from the base of the dashboard. Use the pry tool on the top gap to remove the smaller slots from the base of the dashboard. Once the first couple are removed on the left, slide the tool horizontally across the middle of the trim, with about as much force as it would take to break a small stick. Pull back until the trim edge pops out of place. Continue the same process for the next 2 tabs from left to right. For the final tab, I came in from the right edge to prevent excessive bending on the left side. you remove the two T20s from behind the trim. Removing the air vent is super simple and slides out with the ease of a sock. Open the glove box to access the bottom of the molding. This last piece is the culprit in my misery, the Arc de Triomphe to my city of anxiousness. I wore plastic gloves for this part since most of it involved pulling with my fingers. The pry tool should be a 1/4 inch from the edge of the molding to avoid the first tab. Once the separation is made, you will have a great grip and can pull with that same force from the first trim piece. By now you have a rhythm to the tab separation, and the rest will feel as familiar as your right hand. Now that it's out, you can see the tabs and how they lined up inside their host. This left side was where the sound came from, and I will be insulating it with the fabric tape to deaden the sound. Then I'll pop it back in place and see if that solves the rattling problem. The ambient lighting strip has 2 wire harnesses at each end of the molding. The trim piece has many tabs, and so I'm going to put some fabric tape around each of the tab as well as line the edges with the tape. The gray trim piece had no sound issues and lines up really well and snaps into place, so I'm not going to use any tape because I don't want to create any sort of obstruction to it locking in. Once all the tape has been applied, I'm going to continually rub against it just to tighten it, make it nice and smooth across the surface so that it will slide right back into place softly, gently, and quietly. Two of the trim fittings are designed to enter straight and then slide left. They are T adapters, so you'll slide it in and then slide left before popping it in to the tab connectors. The fabric has quieted the rattle. The molding fits as it did before, and it's much quieter. Time for a test drive. There are things in your life that you will think about many times a day, even hundreds of times a day. Why should our car ever be one of them? I was very nervous about dismantling my dashboard, but I'm very happy I did. The first trim piece was definitely very difficult and took some patience and a couple deep breaths and various ways of approaching it. But now that it's done, I'm happy and I can relax and go for a great drive. In one of the places where I could turn my brain off for just a few minutes a day. Thank you so much for watching. Come back for more videos.